he made a startling discovery that his entire world was actually a novel. His girlfriend of 10 years, the campus belle he had always loved, was the story's female lead, while he was just an ordinary insignificant background character. In a past life she died to save the male lead. After being reborn, the male lead realized she was his true love, and decided to confess his feelings to her in front of the entire school. He turned to look at his girlfriend, expecting to witness a romantic happily ever after scene. Instead he saw her with a panicked expression, frantically trying to explain things to him. She pleaded desperately, saying this wasn't what it looked like, begging him to listen. She insisted she didn't even know the guy. The day the male lead Jake first appeared, he was actually thinking about how to break up with Serena. She answered a phone call, then turned and looked at him for a moment, as if making a firm decision. She said her parents wanted her home for dinner, and asked if he wanted to come with her. He was stunned. What a joke. He never planned to marry her. Meeting her parents now would just make a future breakup messy, so he refused without hesitation, telling her to go ahead. He suddenly remembered his buddy who was still in the hospital from a car accident. He needed to go check on him. Serena looked heartbroken at his refusal. She gave him a pitiful look for a while, seeing he really wasn't going to change his mind. She finally left alone. Once she was gone, he immediately called his friend to hang out. His friend suggested grabbing drinks at a bar. After a while of drinking, he got up to use the restroom. Wandering the halls on his way back, he realized he was lost. Just as he was about to ask someone for directions, he overheard a bar manager yelling at a new employee. The manager called her the Shin family's young lady, cold-hearted with a ruthless reputation, known in certain circles as Serena the Sixth. The manager warned Jake he was crazy to offend her. The man named Jake looked around in confusion, then suddenly grabbed him as he walked by. Jake demanded to know the exact date and year. Completely bewildered, he answered, September 1st, 2078. Jake shuddered, tears streaming down his face. He whispered he had really come back. He was an avid reader of novels, and quickly put two and two together, telling Jake he must have been reborn. Jake ignored him. He just pushed open a nearby private room door and walked in. The manager panicked at the sight, and also entered the room. He tried to stop Jake. While apologizing profusely, he took the blame for his employee's actions, and promised to remove him immediately. His curiosity piqued. He followed to see the drama unfold. He saw an impossibly large private room. No gory scene was happening though. Instead he saw several suited bodyguards surrounding a wheelchair. A tall slender figure sat in it, posture relaxed, gazing at a middle-aged man kneeling on the floor. The figure asked the man to repeat what he had just said. The room's lighting was dim, and the figure was turned sideways, so he couldn't make out their face. Several bodyguards turned at the commotion. Jake ignored the approaching bodyguards. Tears in his eyes, he opened his arms to the person in the wheelchair. Hearing his voice, the person in the wheelchair finally turned to look, the word "who" died on their lips, as their gaze locked directly with his across the room. The next second the legendary Serena the Sixth froze completely. She told the bodyguards to leave, and take the kneeling man with them. Deal with him as previously discussed. Then she coldly told the manager to get out too. The muscular bodyguards in suits walked past him, and he overheard their hushed whispers. They wondered what was up with their boss today. She was being so polite. Another guard replied with an eye roll, telling him to look at who had arrived. It was her longtime crush, the young master from the Jiang family. As the guards left, he also prepared to slip away, but Serena added that he should stay. Soon only the three of them remained in the room. Jake with red-rimmed eyes looked at Serena. He said in his last life he had to watch her die right in front of him. But this time he wouldn't fail her again. He called her his wife. Serena's eyes widened in shock. She demanded to know why he was slandering her like this. She told him to explain himself, asking if they even knew each other. He had lived here alone for many years. A common saying floated to mind that trouble always finds you. Bad news spreads fast while good news stays put. That's why he preferred a simple life, observing the world from a humble place, keeping his feet on the ground and his mind broad. That made sense, right? He felt utterly embarrassed. He covered his face with his hands and tried to bolt, but Serena got up and chased after him. Calling him honey, she insisted she didn't know the other guy. She begged him to just listen. He ran to the end of the hallway. With nowhere else to go, he turned and gave her a cold stare. He demanded Serena explain why they called her the Sixth. Serena glanced around nervously, saying she didn't know. Maybe they had the wrong person. He closed his eyes, let out a breath and said fine, goodbye. He tried to walk past her. Serena had no choice. She ran over and hugged him from behind. Finally she admitted it was a silly nickname she made up during her rebellious phase. He pushed her away. He said the bar manager mentioned people in the underworld called her that. Serena hesitated and asked what underworld. She then said it must be the bright path of socialism. She even straightened up and puffed out her chest. He ignored her absurd response, and asked directly if she was from the Shin family, the one with branches all over the country. Serena reluctantly nodded. He asked, annoyed, why she hid it from him. Was she playing some rich girl, slumming it for kicks game? Serena looked at him hurt and reminded him he once said he was a practical guy. If the gap between them was too big, he probably wouldn't have agreed to date her in the first place. He fell silent, unable to argue, because he truly was someone who avoided complications. If he had known from the start about Serena's notorious reputation in those circles, he would have refused to even have a meal with her, let alone agree to be her boyfriend. He thought about it, and changed the subject. So you should know now that Jake is your future husband. Serena waved her hand, cutting him off, saying she never got that memo. She never agreed to it. She insisted again she didn't know him. Why wouldn't he believe her? He scoffed internally. Why should he? Obviously because even her own bodyguards knew Jake was her longtime crush, and she was still pretending with him. Thinking this, he felt a wave of frustration. He was learning firsthand that rich people's words couldn't be trusted, even if Serena usually acted quirky. Now that her secret was out, a huge unbridgeable gap had opened between them. You might deny it now, but you'll You'll become that person eventually anyway. I've been thinking about this for a while. Might as well say it today. Serena, let's break up. Back at their table, his friend Cal asked what took so long. He took a drink and said he ran into his now ex and broke up with her. Cal was shocked and asked, what? Does she work here? He nodded, saying something like that. Cal gritted his teeth and said that was messed up. He patted his friend, saying that was enough. They had drunk plenty. Time to go home. Actually, right after he broke up with her, Serena had protested strongly, but in the middle of her protests, she got a phone call and suddenly became very calm, as if she had mastered a whole new persona. A bodyguard reported solemnly, boss. He jumped from the car and ran. When we stopped to chase him, a passing car hit him. Serena raised an eyebrow. Was he dead? Not yet. He was taken to the hospital for emergency care. Serena snorted. He stole all that money and got our people killed. He doesn't get to die that easily. Find the best doctors. Make sure he survives. We still have a score to settle. Seeing her attention was elsewhere, he turned and left. This time Serena didn't stop him on the way home. His phone kept buzzing non-stop. Opening it, he saw Serena had sent him 99 messages. He didn't read them, just marked all as read. The reason for the breakup wasn't just because she lied about Jake. It was because they lived in completely different worlds. Their statuses were as far apart as heaven and earth. He had read too many novels like this. In those stories, the heroine always loves the hero to the point of obsession. In a past life, and now Serena would give her life for Jake without a second thought. What good ending could an ex-boyfriend who gets in the way possibly have in that story? The force of the plot was too powerful to change. He didn't want a day to come when Serena thought he was harassing Jake or ruining their relationship and end up like that middle-aged man today. More importantly, his feelings for Serena were just superficial attraction. She wasn't worth risking a fight against fate itself to gamble on some